Okay, hello everyone, and thank you and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to discuss what happens when love has a price tag and most people can't afford it. Across many cultures, bride price or dowry paid by the groom's family has long been a symbol of respect, tradition, and unity between families. So you pay the bride price, like the family feels compensated for the way they raised their child, and it makes the family more connected. But as economies change and costs rise, this tradition is becoming increasingly difficult for many men to afford. So what happens to society when marriage becomes financially out of reach? So in this video, we'll explore the social, economic, cultural, and demographic outcomes of a world where bride price is too high for most men, and what the future may hold if nothing changes. So what is the purpose of a bride price? Let me discuss that first. So traditionally, bride price served several purposes. It symbolized commitment and responsibility. It also compensated the bride's family for raising her, and also it strengthened bonds between families, as well as acting as a form of social security for the bride. So in the past, bride price often included livestock, labor, or symbolic gifts. But today, in many places, it has shifted toward cash-based demands, sometimes reaching amounts equal to several years of income, of the man's income. Maybe you may be asked to bring, even if it is how many millions, let's say 16 million, depending on the currency where you live, and maybe it will take the man many years to even earn that millions. So this shift has transformed a cultural tradition into a serious economic barrier. Okay, so what are the outcomes of a high bread price? We have seen decline in marriage rates. One of the first outcomes is a sharp decline in formal marriages. When men cannot afford the bread price, marriages are delayed for years. Some men never marry at all. Couples may also choose informal unions as marriages becomes harder to achieve. Societies that strongly value formal marriage also begin to experience tension between tradition and reality. We have also seen a rise of informal relationships. When traditional marriage is financially inaccessible, people adapt. Of course, as human beings, we always adapt to any challenge that we face. So this often leads to cohabitation without a formal marriage. We also have seen couples having secret relationships or children born outside traditional marriage structures. While these arrangements may work for some couples, they can create legal and social challenges, especially regarding inheritance, child rights, and family recognition. Okay, I think like here in Kenya, or even in the Muslim cultures, a child born out of wedlock, cannot inherit your property, and also some rights depending on where you come from. Maybe the children's rights born out of wedlock, maybe they are not entitled to some things so compared to those child born within the marriage, and also family recognition. Sometimes your family cannot recognize. Some families don't, especially those who are very conservative, they will not recognize any child born out of wedlock, or even a woman will bring to the household. Also economic strain on men and families. High bread price places immense pressure on men. Some men take huge loans. They also sell their family land or assets, or also delay education or business plans just to ensure they raise the bride price to get married. Some also live with a long-term debt. Some have got into debt to raise the bride price, and also instead of marriage becoming the foundation of stability, it becomes the starting point of financial struggle. Some people start marriages with high debt just because they have paid a high bride price. This financial stress can later contribute to marital conflict, emotional strain, and even divorce eventually. And also we have seen an increase in gender and social tensions. When marriage becomes unaffordable, resentment can grow. Men may feel exploited or secluded. Women may also feel pressure to justify their value. So for those men who are unable to raise the bride price, they may feel exploited, or even when they pay that high bride price, or even excluded when they cannot pay the bride price to maybe be able to marry. So this dynamic risks turning marriage into a transaction rather than a partnership, damaging trust between genders and generations. Another consequences of a high bride price is population and demographic effects. Over time, high bride price can affect population trends. It also lowers marriage rates, leading to a reduced birth rates in societies where children are expected within marriage. Also, in addition to that, it also results in aging populations. Recently, I've read articles whereby, or even seen videos on YouTube, whereby some of the reasons why marriage rates in China are dropping. I don't know about other Asian countries, maybe Japan, maybe you can look into it. But in China, I've seen people giving reasons as to why they don't marry, because the bride price is very high, especially in a rural area. In China, many, due to their one-child policy, whereby a family can only have one child, they preferred the son. So the men in China are more compared to the women. And if the supply of women is low compared to that of men, the women will sometimes uh, have some pride. They want more dowry. So because the demand from the men is very high, so they raise their prices. Also, another consequences. Also, we have seen increased numbers of unmarried adults. Many adults are not married because if the men don't are not willing to marry because of the high bride price, also the women, they don't get someone to marry them. So these demographic shifts can influence labor markets, elder care systems, and long-term economic growth. So it is only the young people who can work. The elderly cannot. If you don't have young people to work, then you don't have labor, unless if you want migration, if you allow people to migrate into your country. Also, elder care systems. If you have more elders than the young, what is it called? The pension system. The young people will feel overburdened when it comes to supporting the elderly. And also it may reduce long-term economic growth due to the low number of people in the job market. Also, another consequences is cultural erosion or cultural evolution. Ironically, demanding excessive bride price may threaten the very culture it aims to preserve. So younger generations may reject traditional marriage entirely. Also view bride price as outdated. That is also adopt alternative cultural practices. So what was meant to protect tradition may instead accelerate its decline. So, and also so what are some of the possible future outcomes? If bride price continues to rise unchecked, societies may face three possible paths. One, it's either the reform. Communities can agree to cap the bride price or return to symbolic gifts, which are easier to afford, or also focus on mutual respect rather than wealth, whereby people respect each other. Also, resistance. People increasingly ignore traditional marriage norms, creating parallel social systems. Sometimes also we must also experience social fragmentation. Rising inequality leads to marriage becoming a privilege of the wealthy. Privilege of the wealthy, and also we have a growing social division. So, what are some of the solutions being tried around the world? Some communities are already responding. They are setting legal limits on bride price. Maybe some countries like in China, they are starting to come up with laws to set a cap on how much you can pay on the bride price. Also, community agreements to reduce demands. For example, the community may come and say, this issue of a high bride price is making our daughters not get married. Let us agree to at least to reduce the demands that we have. Also, educational campaigns on cultural values, and also encouraging couples to decide independently rather than the families interfering. So these efforts aim to preserve tradition without destroying opportunity. So in conclusion, our bride price was never meant to block love, delay families, or divide society. So when marriage becomes too expensive, the cost isn't just financial, it's social, emotional, and cultural. So the question is no longer whether bride price should exist, the, but whether it can evolve with the realities of modern life. Life is too expensive, and not many men earn a high salary. or have wealth. So if traditions are meant to serve people, not to burden them, then perhaps the future of marriage depends on balance, not price. Okay, so what do you think about this topic? Should the bride price be reduced, reformed, or removed altogether? So share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Okay, thank you, and bye. Cheers.